In 1760, one of the most beautiful women in England sat in front of a 7-foot mirror and painted her own face with poison. On purpose. Every single day. Her name was Maria Gunning, the Countess of Coventry, and the makeup she adored was quietly killing her. Here's the thing. For most of human history, looking good could get you killed. Not in a dramatic sword fight kind of way. In a slow, ugly, you did this to yourself kind of way. People smeared lead on their cheeks, dripped actual nightshade into their eyeballs, and nibbled arsenic like breath mints, all to look pretty. And the wild part? A lot of them knew it was dangerous. They just did it anyway. So let's talk about the beauty trends that had a body count. Let's go back to Maria. She grew up poor in Ireland, got famous purely for being gorgeous, and married an earl. Overnight, she became the 18th century version of a celebrity influencer. And like any good influencer, she had a signature look. That look was called Venetian Cerise. Picture a thick, smooth, chalk-white paste that you smear all over your face, neck, and chest. It gave you this flawless porcelain glow. The whole I have never worked a day outdoors in my life aesthetic. Rich, delicate, untouchable. The main ingredient? White lead, mixed with a little vinegar. Yeah, lead. The stuff we now scrape off old walls in protective suits, she was rubbing straight into her skin. And Venetian Cerise had one nasty little feature. The lead slowly poisoned the skin, causing sores and blemishes. So what did women do to cover the sores? They slapped on more Cerise, more lead, which caused more sores, which meant more lead. It was a beauty routine that literally fed on itself. Imagine a skincare product that gives you acne, and the acne treatment is more of the same product. That was Cerise. Maria's husband hated it so much that he once wiped the makeup off her face in public with his handkerchief. She kept using it anyway. And by the age of 27, after her skin had rotted and her hair had fallen out, she died. Society even had a nickname for it. They called it death by vanity, and she was not the first. Many believe Queen Elizabeth I painted the very same lead paste over her smallpox scars for decades. But lead was just the appetizer. Over in Renaissance Italy, women wanted big, dark, dreamy eyes, that soft, dilated puppy dog look. Basically the original doe-eyed filter, except there was no filter. There was just a plant, and that plant was deadly nightshade, one of the most poisonous plants in all of Europe. Fashionable Italian women squeezed its juice directly into their eyes. Let that sink in. They dripped poison onto their own eyeballs because it made their pupils go huge and glossy. And honestly, it worked. The effect was genuinely hypnotic. We even got the plant's name from this. In Italian, they called it belladonna, beautiful woman, because that is what it was for. The stuff that could stop your heart got named after how pretty it made you look. The catch? Belladonna doesn't just widen your pupils, it blurs your vision, and over the long term, it can straight up blind you. So you had rooms full of gorgeous women with stunning, sparkling eyes who slowly could not see a thing, and it gets darker. The formal name for the plant is Atropa belladonna. Atropa comes from Atropos, one of the 3 fates in Greek myth. She was the one who cut the thread of a person's life. So the plant is basically named the Beautiful Lady of Death. Renaissance Italy really said, why not both? Okay, fast forward to the Victorian era, and I need you to hear this next one because it is genuinely unhinged. Back then, pale, sickly-looking skin was the peak of beauty, and I mean sickly. Being thin and ghostly pale, like you might faint at any second, was considered elegant. There was even a trend called consumptive chic, where women wanted to look like they were slowly dying of tuberculosis, on purpose, because it was fashionable. So how do you get that delicate, one-foot-in-the-grave glow? Easy, you eat arsenic. There was a product sold under the name Dr. James Campbell's Safe Arsenic Complexion Wafers. Safe. It said safe right there in the name. These were little white wafers you could order from the Sears and Roebuck catalog right next to the socks and the garden tools, and you were meant to nibble them like after-dinner mints. The way they worked was horrifyingly simple. Arsenic destroys your red blood cells. Fewer red blood cells means less color in your skin. Less color means you look pale and pure and fashionable. You were poisoning yourself into the exact shade of white you wanted. Small problem. Arsenic is one of the deadliest substances on Earth, and over time, it caused the very things women were trying to hide: dark spots, rashes, skin lesions, so they would eat more wafers to fix it. Sound familiar? Same trap as the lead. The cure was the poison. Now, pale skin was only half the look. You also needed rosy red lips and flushed cheeks to pop against all that ghostly white. And for that lovely red, people reached for something called vermilion. Vermilion is a gorgeous, bright red pigment. It is also pure mercury sulfide. Mercury, the same stuff that made old thermometers dangerous and gave us the phrase mad as a hatter. So women were painting straight mercury onto their lips and cheeks every day. And your lips, in case you forgot, are a body part you regularly lick, eat with, and kiss people with. They were basically snacking on a heavy metal, and it didn't stop at the mouth. In 1874, a beauty column in the magazine Harper's Bazaar recommended rubbing an ointment made with mercury directly onto your eyelids to grow thicker lashes. A magazine told women to put mercury on their eyes as helpful beauty advice. Mercury poisoning does wonderful things by tremors, tooth loss, memory problems, mood swings, kidney damage. But sure, bold lip. Now here is where you would think humans might finally learn. We hit the 20th century. Science is booming. Surely we stopped poisoning our faces, right? Nope. We just upgraded to radiation. In 1932 in Paris, a company launched a line of luxury cosmetics called Thoradia, face cream, powder, even lipstick. And the special glowing ingredient was radium. Real, actual, radioactive radium, plus a bit of thorium, just for good measure. The pitch was that radium would energize your skin cells and give you a healthy, radiant glow. And they leaned hard into that word, glow. Their advertising showed a woman's face lit up from below, so it looked like she was literally beaming light. Nothing says buy this product like a face that appears to be glowing in the dark. They even slapped the name Dr. Alfred Curie on the packaging to make you think of Marie Curie, the famous radium scientist. He had nothing to do with her. Same last name, total coincidence, absolutely brilliant marketing scam. It is like naming your energy drink after some random guy called Elon Musk, who is definitely legally not that Elon Musk. Across the channel, a British brand called Radior promised its products would stay radioactive for a full 20 years. That was the selling point. 20 years of radiation right there on your cheeks. And around the same time, a wealthy American named Eben Byers drank a radium tonic for his health and died as his bones slowly fell apart. France finally banned radioactive cosmetics in 1937, a few years after Marie Curie herself died from radiation exposure. Turns out the glow was not, in fact, good for you. Which brings us to the one that finally forced the government to step in. In 1933, women wanted dark, dramatic lashes and brows without the daily hassle. So a product called Lash Lure offered a permanent dye. One salon visit, gorgeous inky lashes for weeks. Sounds amazing. It contained a harsh chemical dye that had never been properly tested, and for some women, within hours, their eyes started to burn, then swell, then ulcerate shut. A woman known in court records only as Mrs. Brown got the treatment and went completely blind. She was not alone. More than a dozen women were blinded, and one woman developed an infection from it and died. Here is the part that actually changed history. At that time, there were basically no laws in America controlling what could go into cosmetics. None. Companies could put whatever they wanted on your face and simply call it safe. So the government assembled a public display of dangerous products, and reporters nicknamed it the American Chamber of Horrors. It showed up at the Chicago World's Fair, with before and after photos of the women blinded by Lash Lure. The photos were so disturbing that when First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt saw them, she reportedly could not even look. That horror show helped push through a brand new law in 1938. For the very first time, the American government could actually regulate cosmetics. It took blindings and a death, but the age of smearing straight poison on your face was finally ending. So here is what gets me about all of this. None of these people were stupid. A lot of them knew lead was toxic. They had watched women die from it. And they kept going anyway, because looking beautiful felt more important than staying alive. And before we get too smug about it, be honest. We still chase glowing skin. We still want bigger eyes and fuller lashes and that flawless, filtered look. We are just lucky enough to have people testing our products now, so they don't melt our faces off. So the next time your skincare routine feels like way too many steps, just remember, at least none of it is quietly trying to kill you. Maria Gunning would have loved that. That's all for today. I make videos like this one all the time, so if history's weirdest and most horrifying trends are your thing, go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you in the next